Xeelee Sequence. The Xeelee Sequence is what you get when you replace Lovecraft's occult with mathematics, but you keep the horror. In Stephen Baxter's universe, humanity reaches for the stars and finds only horror. The cosmos isn't just vast, it's ancient, indifferent, and already claimed. The Xeelee are space-time symbiotes, eldritch gods made of defects in reality. Their megastructures span galaxies. One of them, the Ring, is 1 billion light-years wide. It's not a weapon, it's an exit. Because even the Xeelee are running. They're fleeing the Photino birds, invisible, undetectable dark matter beings that extinguish stars to make the universe more habitable for themselves. They don't hate us. They don't even know we exist. Before we ever meet the Xeelee, we're invaded twice. First by hive mind squid, who freeze our oceans and wipe our memories. Then by slug aliens, who erase our cultures and turn Earth into a sterile graveyard. By the time we rise again, we're no longer curious. We're furious and deeply xenophobic. We wage a war against all alien life, a conflict that lasts millennia. The interim coalition of governance, united Earth, in a regime so nightmarish, it makes 1984 look quaint. They've managed to breed out individuality, empathy, and the very concept of family. Love is outlawed, and you can even be executed for what a different version of you might do in a different timeline. An entire cast of women becomes baby factories, breeding soldiers for the endless fight. We break ourselves trying to break the Xeelee. We become monsters, de-evolving aliens into livestock, and skinning intelligent beings to turn them into star sails. And none of it even matters. The Xeelee barely notice us. The war that lights up the center of the galaxy, costing trillions of lives, is just a slight inconvenience for them. And in the end, after all the blood, the horror, the cataclysms, after humanity has splintered, ascended, and lost itself, the Xeelee just leave. They abandoned the galaxy and left the Ring behind. An invitation from the Xeelee for what's left of us to escape this dying universe. A silent gesture from gods who owe us nothing. We are not the protagonists of this story. We are nothing but a rounding error in someone else's math. And the best we can hope for is that the gods leave the door open on their way out. Doom. Something went wrong on Phobos. The Union Aerospace Corporation experiments with interdimensional travel on Mars and its moons. Then something goes wrong. The gates rupture and hell comes through. Not metaphorical hell, literal hell. Demons pour out of the portals. The security forces are slaughtered and raised as undead. A distress call was sent. You and your squad were deployed to secure the perimeter. But now your squad's dead. You hear bones breaking over the comms. Then silence. You're alone. No evac, no command. Just a pistol and some rusted armor. The base is crawling with possessed corpses, snarling imps, and screaming nightmares. But the demons made the biggest mistake of their existence. They left you breathing. Because you are the mother-f***ing Doom guy. A pixelated slab of righteous fury. A 16-bit war crime. You don't run. You don't talk. You just blast. You're the nightmare the demons tell each other about when the lights go out. A one-man extinction event. You're not locked in here with them. They're locked in here with you. The darkness of this universe isn't hell. It's what happens when you arrive. And it gets worse for them. In later chapters, the demons invade Earth. They kill your family and your rabbit. You follow them through dimensions, across worlds, through time. You're always there, hunting. The Twilight Zone. It's a good life. In the middle of nowhere, or perhaps the middle of nothing, sits Peaksville. The rest of the world is either gone or unreachable. No one knows for sure, and no one dares to ask. Because Anthony doesn't like questions. He is a 6-year-old boy with the power of a god. Anthony is the antagonist of the infamous episode of The Twilight Zone, It's a Good Life. He can read minds, create and destroy matter, and he doesn't understand good or evil, only what pleases him and what doesn't. And when he's displeased, he wishes people into the cornfield. They're never seen again. The adults live in terror, frozen in a constant performance of forced smiles and praise. No one sings, no one cries, No one thinks anything but happy thoughts, because if you do, he will know. Anthony is a child with no empathy, no limits, who never hears the word no. At a birthday party, the birthday boy, Dan Hollis, breaks. Drunk and desperate, he calls Anthony a monster to his face. He begs someone, anyone, to attack the boy while his back is turned. Anthony's aunt tentatively reaches for the fireplace poker, but falters almost immediately. She knows better. Anthony calls Dan a very, very bad man and transforms him into a jack-in-the-box. Warped, twitching. Anthony's father gently talks him into sending Dan to the cornfield, and then, casually, Anthony makes it snow, guaranteeing that half the crops will die. His father almost snaps. Almost. But then he catches himself, forces a smile, and says, "You did a real good thing, Anthony, by making it snow." A real good thing. And everyone agrees. Tomorrow's going to be a real good day, a very, very good day. The War of the Worlds. They came without a message, no offer of peace, no demand for surrender. They simply began to burn the world. In H.G. Wells' The War of the Worlds, Earth is not the center of the universe. It's not sacred or protected. It's just another planet, and someone else wants it. Wells shatters the illusion of human dominance. Victorian England, then the symbol of civilization and power, is reduced to ruin in days. The Martians descend like a force of nature, incinerating armies with heat rays, smothering cities in black smoke. The invaders don't hate us. They don't even seem to care. We are to them what ants are to us. They harvest our blood, crush our homes, and move on. Resistance is utterly meaningless. And then, just as suddenly as they came, the Martians die, killed off by bacteria. Tiny, mindless organisms we can't even thank. It's a victory by accident, a fluke, and that's what makes the War of the Worlds so terrifying. We didn't survive because we were brave or clever. We survived because we were lucky, this time. But the universe is vast, and the next visitors may not suffer from the same ailments. In Wells's vision, there is no triumph. Just a reminder, we are not alone. We are not safe, and we are not ready. Mad Max. So you think Australia is dangerous now? Wait till you see it after a nuclear war. The Mad Max universe is a world stripped to rust and rage. Society didn't collapse overnight. It bled out, slowly. In the first film, civilization is still standing, barely. The cities are decaying, the highways are ruled by gangs, and the cops are little more than scavengers in uniform. When the fuel dried up, so did order. Max Rockatansky is a highway patrolman trying to hold the line, until he loses everything. Then, the line disappears. He becomes a survivor powered by grief, vengeance, and 600 horsepower. By the second film, it's all gone. The world was choked to death by oil shortages, economic ruin, and a global nuclear war. The Outback has become a war zone of scavengers, warlords, and flame-belching death machines. Here, fuel is life, and water is power. Towns run on pig shit, and warlords rule with theatrical brutality. Life is short, brutal, and loud. The world ended, but it didn't stop spinning. So buckle up, keep your eyes on the horizon, and whatever you do, don't run out of gas. The Last of Us. When the world ended, it wasn't fire or war that did it in. It was a fungus. Insects fall victim to cordyceps in our world. In this one, people do. A mutated strain of the parasite jumped to humans, hijacking their minds and warping their bodies. The infected aren't undead. They're alive, but hollowed out, puppeted by tendrils that twist them into nightmares. Civilization collapsed. Cities died, and nature grew over the ruins. The Last of Us is set 20 years after the outbreak. You play as Joel, a broken man who's lost everything. He's tasked with smuggling a girl named Ellie across a ruined America. She's immune to the fungus. She might be the cure. But nothing in this world is simple. Raiders, cults, cannibals, everyone's just trying to survive, and survival has a cost. The deeper Joel and Ellie go, the more that cost becomes clear. When they finally reach the Fireflies, the last hope for a vaccine, Joel learns the truth. To save humanity, Ellie has to die. And he can't let that happen. So he kills them all. He saves her, not because it's right, not because she asked, but because he can't lose her. And then he lies to her face. The world of The Last of Us is already dead, but its darkest moment is purely human. It's a story where love survives the apocalypse and dooms the world. Bloodborne. So, you came to Yharnam for a cure. What you found instead was a nightmare made of blood and beasts. Long ago, scholars discovered ancient ruins beneath the city, remnants of a forgotten civilization that had made contact with the Great Ones, eldritch beings from a higher plane of existence. They found something else, the old blood, a miraculous substance that could cure any disease or ailment. The healing church spread it to the masses. Yharnam's culture became obsessed with blood, to the point where it replaced even alcohol. Then it began to rot them from the inside out. The old blood was never safe. Those who consumed it were slowly transformed into beasts. To contain the truth, the church created hunters to eliminate the afflicted in secret. But the plague couldn't be contained. Old Yharnam was burned, and the city collapsed into madness. You arrived during the hunt, one of many nights where beasts roam and sanity is scarce. You sign a contract, receive a transfusion, and awaken in the hunter's dream, a liminal space tied to a great one called the Moon Presence. At first, the threat seems clear. Beasts in the streets, madness in the eyes of the faithful. But the deeper you go, the more reality unravels. The healing church experiments on humans. Infants are offered to the cosmos. The Great Ones whisper through dreams. To escape, you must end the nightmare, or become part of it. SCP Foundation. The world hasn't ended, because someone is making sure it doesn't. The SCP Foundation is an open, collaborative project, where thousands of contributors have built an ever-expanding nightmare. There is no canon, no fixed truth, just redacted files, anomalous horrors, and the cold logic of containment. Secure, contain, protect. That's the mission. Contain the impossible. Hide it from the world. Bury the consequences. It reads like a clinical bureaucracy. Each SCP is a case file. Dry language, blacked out details, euphemistic horror. Their job is to keep things normal by hiding the things that aren't. And the world is crawling with them. Some are terrifying. SCP-096, a creature that will hunt and kill anyone who sees its face, even in a photo. SCP-049, a plague doctor who believes he's curing a pestilence by turning humans into walking corpses. SCP-173, a concrete statue that snaps your neck the second you blink. Others are absurd. SCP-7543, a Lego brick that keeps teleporting under one researcher's foot. Nobody believes him. SCP-426, a toaster that can only be described in the first person. The darkness of the SCP universe isn't just what's written. It's what's possible. Each entry is another anomaly, another fear, imagined by thousands of minds. A collaborative madness, and the only thing containing it is imagination. Alright, that was part 3. Let me know in the comments which universe you think is the darkest and why. Thanks for watching. Cheers.